Hello, welcome back. So we are starting off with two 30-ounce tumblers, straight tumblers from the Glitter Ranch. I wanted these to be straight because of the Peekaboo that I'm going to be putting on there, the wrap that I'm going to be putting on. I needed it to be straight and up and down. I didn't want it to be curvy or anything, so that's why I intended to use the straight for this particular look. Now, I started off with these two. I painted them white, and then I used a fluorescent green color to spray on top of them. And the only way you can really get that fluorescent green is to base it with a white and then come in and spray it with that fluorescent green. So as you can see here, I am putting glow powder from the Glitter Ranch in there, this bright green fluorescent glow powder. And then I'm also putting a green fluorescent glow paint in there as well, because I wanted to cover up any of the splotches of the paint that was going to be, that came from painting it. But also, I was going to be doing a peekaboo, so I wasn't too worried, but I also wanted so much of that glow to come through, and I wanted to have that color behind it too with the paint. So I just figured, just double whammy, and we'll be able to get as much glow as we can and as much color as we can for that fluorescent green look. Now, one thing I wanted to go over here is you want to make sure that you are mixing this really well and that you are spreading this on the tumbler really well, because that paint and the glitter powder or the glow powder can get kind of splotchy in places. So I was just making sure that I was getting a good mix all the way around the cup and a good mix in the actual, little pot of paint and stuff there. So I made sure that I mixed it up really, really well. And you definitely want to see this. You will see that in the results. In the end, you will see a bunch of streaking in the glow. So you want to make sure you do that in the very beginning. So I am pouring about 20 milliliters, 25 milliliters into this little cup here. And I'm going to pour my glitter straight into the cup there and mix it in. And I actually put a coat of epoxy on the tumbler as well. There's the color, Mile Zero. It's a glow glitter from the Glitter Ranch. And that way, when I put it on there, it could have a smooth surface to go on, because sometimes with that glitter, it can get real hard to spread it sometimes. So I thought if I put just a simple small coat of epoxy on there beforehand, then when I put the glitter on there, I would have a lot more smooth, a more smooth surface to smear the glitter with it, and hopefully get a better coverage, which I did achieve in the end. I hope, I wanted to get a better coverage with all of the glitter, because sometimes you have to do 2 coats of the glitter. And this time, because I put just a tiny bit of epoxy on there beforehand, I got really good coverage. Plus, this was a peekaboo, so it wasn't going to be just standing alone by itself. So I got enough coverage for that, application. And I'm putting just a little heat on here, just using my heat gun, and just making sure that the epoxy doesn't have those bubbles, and then also that it can kind of just spread out and get even around the entire cup, and hopefully not have any splotches of glitter or, that glow powder or glow paint. So here I am prepping the vinyl to put on there, and I'm also prepping the cup. So I took the painter's tape there, and I put it on my shirt just to kind of take a little bit of the stickiness off, and then I just laid it in the inside, because once we put the decal on there, we are going to be taking it outside and painting it black, and I don't want all that black paint to get inside of there, so this is why I take this step. And as always, I clean my cups off with alcohol before I put the vinyl on, even if it's removable. There is also 2 coats of epoxy on at this point. After I did the coat that you saw, I put another coat on there just to make it smooth and, clean, so that I could put these vinyl peekaboos on and I wouldn't have too many bumps or flaws or anything like that in the coat of epoxy. So came out pretty smooth on that second coat, so I was good to go on this. Now, the purple vinyl that you see there is actually removable vinyl, and I did not have enough in a sheet form to make the second piece of the Peekaboo. So I used just a basic vinyl, but thank God I used the basic vinyl, the permanent vinyl, on the easier Peekaboo look, because if I had used it on this detailed look here, I would have been in big trouble, because it was hard to get off. Anytime you can use stencil or removable vinyl, I would definitely highly recommend it. So this look here, I will definitely add to my group in the Facebook group, the VIP group or whatever. This was a combination of two separate looks. I wanted a steampunk look, and I also wanted kind of a filigree look as well. So what I did was I combined these two shapes, these two images, just combined them together and made this one particular look. And it was going off of their logo. She didn't want the actual logo in there, so I just kind of reminisced. I don't know. I replicated, I guess maybe that's a better word, replicated the look of that, and it was kind of steampunk and kind of filigree, so I just went with these two, and I just think it came out amazing. I love it. They had made somebody had made them a wood piece with that distressed looking flag like that. And so I decided to mimic the male's cup in that look and do hers in the steampunk and the filigree, which is a little more feminine in its look. So I wanted to have them looking alike, but not exactly similar. And as you can see, that was quite tedious, so I definitely would not use anything but removable or stencil vinyl for something this intricate. The permanent vinyl for that flag was hard enough. Don't do it. Please heed my advice in this. So anyways, I put a big sheet of this transfer tape here, and I basically got it as straight as I could. The look is very flowy and all of that, so I wasn't like way too concerned about it being completely straight on there, but I wanted it to, flow completely around the edge. Now, I did not go all the way around the edge, but it was perfectly fine the way that I cut the name out of it, that it actually kind of looked the same, and it turned out really amazing, and I was very pleased with the overall look. But at first I was kind of upset that it didn't go all the way around. I thought I measured it out appropriately, but I don't know if putting the epoxy on there, or I just didn't measure it in that sense, or the way that the design was in Cricut just didn't measure the way that I thought it was. I don't know exactly what happened, but all in all, it came out perfectly fine. But I did cut off some of the pieces at the bottom and the top and just kind of added them on the back side, just to kind of make it look like it was kind of flowing a little bit around to the side. So it worked out fine. And this one did the same thing. I just put it on there. Evidently, I put it on there and it just stuck. So I had to kind of lift it up just a little bit and get it straight. That's the thing about that transfer tape. Sometimes and the cup, it just attracts it, and sometimes you're stuck with where the placement was. But it worked out fine. You could not tell anything. It really didn't look like that it was off. Maybe it wasn't, maybe it was, I don't know. But I did cut out the names in each one of the designs. So I did a name, and then I did an offset. And I was actually thinking I was going to do a video of this and add it to my group on Facebook. That way y'all could kind of see how I did that, taking the image and then making an offset of the name and then putting it in the image, cutting that out, and then taking the original word and then putting it in there with the original offset. I know it sounds very difficult. That's why I didn't want this video to be like an hour long. So I think what I'm going to do is make that a video in my Facebook group, and then that way y'all can follow along, and it will be just a quick little video of just me doing that part of it, so it will tie into this. So be sure and join the group, and that way you can check that video out when it comes out on Friday. Now, I sped this up tremendously because this took me probably about 45 minutes to take all of this off. Now, had it been removable vinyl, I think it would have been a lot easier to take this off, but I did speed it up, and then I sped it up some more, and then I sped it up some more. So just so you know, it was not this easy to take it off. It was actually very difficult. So like I said, removable vinyl or stencil vinyl is the only way to go, in my opinion. But thank goodness I used it for this, because this design was a little more straightforward with the lines and the stars and just the little pieces that needed to come off. Had I done it with this next one, it would have taken me a lot longer. But it was so much easier with the removable vinyl, but it was so much more intricate in its detail that had I not had that, I probably would have been not too happy with the situation that I was in. So definitely keep removable and stencil vinyl on hand for situations like this. But like, again, I told you, I have sped this up tremendously because this was a long, tedious process. But I am taking my time. I am being very careful. I'm using my very, very thin weeding tool here because I didn't want anything too big and too fat that could just slip and scratch. Now, it was going to be somewhat of a distressed look with the peekaboo and the glow in the dark, and there is a lot of detail in this, so it wasn't that big of a deal if I would have scraped it up, but I was trying my hardest to keep it as authentic to the original design as possible. So this is where I cut out the offset on the inside of the design, right? So I cut the offset out of the design, and then I used a green, like holographic-y, glittery look of the offset, and I used it on both of them because I thought it's no big deal to have a little bit of glitter on a guy's cup every once in a while. So, and it was just going to be kind of peeking through behind the black name that I was going to be putting in holographic vinyl. This chrome holographic vinyl I was going to be putting on top. So just added a little bit of flair, and I think it really held true to their logo and their design and their business. And this is probably the largest name I have ever put on a cup, but they were 30 ounces and they were straight. So I just felt like it needed to fill up the entire area to kind of become the design in the background itself, if that makes sense. So this would be total preference to you, but this is what I decided to do because I wanted it to kind of blend with the design. In the end, that was what I really feel like it came through in that sense. Now this is just, I just put it right in the flag part there. And with that black that the paint, when we did the peekaboo, it stayed behind there. So it gave you just a little bit of an offset there. And then you put another offset and then you put the name on there. And it really gave a fluid look, I believe. And I just love how it came out. So as usual, I added my logo to the bottom, and then I covered the vinyl, the sticker and the vinyl on the sides. I covered them with Mod Podge and went in with 2 final coats, and there they are. This will probably go down as one of the coolest cups that I made. I definitely feel like the look and the feel that she was going off of for the glow in the dark, the black, the green, it really comes across and it really matched their logo. I feel like they would be proud to be carrying this in their store and show it off to their customers. So I'm so happy that she put me up to this, and it just made it so worth it in the end, and I just love it. So please join my group. Please comment below. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.